Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Echelon Cycling Podcast, where we discuss what's happening the week before and, ponder what's going to happen in the week coming up. As always, I'm joined by Patrick Blake and Ewan Wilson, Mr. Craig himself. This week, we obviously had the Vuelta Burgos. The Vuelta Espana is coming up, so we'll do predictions about that. We also have a bit of bad news in terms of a Jumbo-Visma rider, but we are going to turn this podcast into the Tour of Denmark podcast because we had the biggest one-week stage race in the world happening. It absolutely got dominated by, Fabio Jakobsen took stages. We also had Little Trek dominating with both Mathieu and Jensen winning the Queen stage up Kilsva in Vejle, and then we had Mads Pedersen doing a phenomenal time trial to basically wrap it up. They also did a 1-2 on that Mathieu Skjelmose victory with Mads Pedersen finished second, but overall Mads Pedersen took the Tour of Denmark for the second time in his career, and it was a 1-2 trek, and then Magnus Cort Nielsen third on it. We also had Søren Varnskjold win the first stage, but he's Norwegian, so that doesn't matter. And then impressively, Mads Pedersen went from where I think it was Helsingør, where the time trial was, went all the way, did the ferry, went over to Hamburg the next day, and then won the Hamburg Classic or whatever it's called now. So I think we already know who I'm going to pick for Rider of the Week. But how did you think of Tour of Denmark?
That was really good. Is it the Bemer or Bemer? Does anybody what is it?
So I would think Bemer
Babe.
in terms of like normal
either.
German pronunciation, but I don't know if Bemer is like a acronym for something, or whether Bemer is not German. But
I called it
for me,
Bemer.
it's always the Hamburg Cycle Classic.
All right.
What was wrong with Hamburg Classic?
I don't know. I went with
They
Bemer.
needed the coin from whatever
Oh,
Bemer did.
yeah, obviously. Yeah. I take that back then. Yeah, the Tour of Denmark is not called Tour of Denmark. It's called Post Denmark Nord.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
yeah, Tour of Denmark. I thought it was I mean, I enjoyed this time of year. It was very chaotic because there was Denmark and there was the Arctic race of Norway. There was 4 races on at once. It was absolutely chaotic. But yeah, Denmark was good. It was a little bit, I don't want to say stale, but it was kind of like there was such big names that it was sort of like inevitable who was going to be winning some of the stages. Like Pedersen and Skjelmose and Jakobsen like dominating was kind of inevitable. Varnskjold winning stage 1 was interesting because it was a late attack. I thought that was really cool, but it was after like Pedersen had a puncture or something like that. He was pretty furious. But yeah, Pedersen's just in scintillating form. Like we saw it in the World Champs. We've seen it now. It wouldn't surprise me if he rocks up on the Vuelta start list now, to be honest with you. Pedersen's just on absolute fire, and it's great success for Lidl Trek in Tour of Denmark. They'll be happy with Skjelmose, the national champ, getting a victory as well. Yeah, I think that Lidl will be very happy with their new sponsorship.
Yeah, and I imagine that the Hamburg Cycle Classics is like an important sponsor goal, given that Lidl is a German company. I don't know whether like their focuses will now change in terms of like targeting German races more, but also the way that Pedersen won in Hamburg was particularly impressive. He bridged up to the front group and then sort of over sprinted everybody else. That was really, really emphatic. He looks like he's on probably the best form I've, dare I say, ever seen Mads Pedersen.
Yeah, I think you're right. Even the Worlds as well. He was 4th there, just losing out to Tadej Pogačar. The final time trial, Helsingør, a beautiful place. His teammate was in the leader's jersey. They didn't have the skin suit jersey like they do in the Tour of France, but that must have been quite sad for Skjelmose seeing the jersey ripped away by his teammate.
Yeah. Pedersen has really improved on his TTing though, hasn't he? Like he used to be sort of just like a guy who would do well over anything kind of sub 10k, but now he's kind of like increasing his distance of kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say usefulness. Competitiveness.
He's won it before the time trial in Denmark, so
yeah. But he's just so dominant, and he is just insane. But I don't know. This feels like my Mads Pedersen appreciation podcast now.
Speaking of which, I feel like Pedersen is almost like underappreciated. It's a shame that he's around now with all these Galacticos, because if he were around in the 2010s in like a different period of cycling, then I feel like people would really appreciate Pedersen because he's such a great all-rounder. It's just a shame that now he gets maybe trumped by the likes of Van Aert and Van der Poel and so forth, because otherwise he would be a generational talent.
Speaking of of Mathieu van der Poel. We saw his kit unveiled for the first time, the rainbow jersey. I think you both quite liked it. What do you think of Mathieu van der Poel in the rainbow jersey with white shorts, no?
Feels like it was meant to be honest with you. I've never seen a picture that's looked more correct. I like the white shorts. It's not even like a new thing because when he was Dutch national champ in 2019, he was wearing white shorts there. So I'm quite happy he went the full way. But yeah, just great to see. I can't wait to see him in World Champ bands next year on the road. It's going to be an immense season. 2024, going to be brilliant.
Well, oh, sorry. Yeah.
Well,
Go.
I was thinking, like, I know, like, the white shorts are like they were his lucky charm for a while before Remco Evenepoel. So, like, when he was Dutch champion, he'd wear the white shorts to, like, give him good luck. So I don't know whether we're going to see that a lot. It feels right, but I don't know whether that's because we've seen so much of him in the rainbow jersey in cyclocross. Whether, like we're conditioned to seeing Van der Poel in the rainbow jersey. But even on the road, like, it looks good. It feels as though we definitely have the best rider in the world, or one of the best riders in the world, in that rainbow jersey, rightfully.
Well, speaking of best riders in the world, Primoz Roglic, he still has a 100% record of winning stage races this year, which is quite incredible, to be honest. Vuelta Burgos, what did you guys think of that?
It was interesting. I liked that they had the TTT. It gives a little bit of a taste as to what we might see at the Vuelta, which starts with a team time trial. So I guess those who go to the Vuelta Burgos get a little bit of extra competitive practice in there. And, you know, it wasn't really a surprise to see Jumbo dominating there. It's certainly something which is perhaps a bit foreboding to see what's going to be coming up in the Vuelta. But there was a good kind of breakaway victory by Lazcano. I think that was really good. We've seen him have some good performances this year. I would like to see him down at the Vuelta. I think that, you know, he could certainly win a stage. I think if Movistar take him, and it'll be a real shame to not take him. He's the Spanish national champ after all. But yeah, Roglic up against Yates and Vlasov. I thought it was a really good kind of GC battle. It wasn't just like a runaway performance by one. It was always quite close. And I thought it was a really good appetizer for the Vuelta, and kind of seeing the kind of hot conditions. It just kind of takes me to what we're going to be expecting over kind of the next 3 weeks.
Burgos has been quite a sort of cult classic, I feel, over the past couple of years in terms of preparing for the Vuelta. Also, that purple leaders jersey is fantastic. But I think what we saw there is prime Roglic. Like, he is disgustingly good at stage races. Like, 1 week long stage races, he is very, very hard to beat. I think it's 28 of the last stage races he has competed in. He's worn the leader's jersey. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's about 28. I saw the tweet the other day from Daniel Frieb, who keeps on updating the ticker every time he wears the jersey. But it's a huge amount of stage races. If it weren't for Vingegaard, he'd go into the Vuelta as favourite.
I mean, that is what we're going to discuss now. We did a video about, well, here on the Echelon Cycling Podcast, about will Primoz Roglic ever win the Tour de France? All the Roglic fans came out in their numbers in the comment section. But yeah, do you think he's ever going to win the Vuelta a España again?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Brace yourselves.
It could be this time round, to be honest with you. You know, you never know what's going to happen to people if something doesn't go right for Jonas, or he doesn't react well to doing 2 Grand Tours in 1 year, then Roglic becomes the leader of one of the strongest, if not the strongest team going into the Vuelta. You know, he's good at the TT, and he's won it so many times before. Like, there's no reason why Roglic won't win this. I reckon it'll be quite close though, because like him and Remco and G, I think, are all on a relatively similar level at the Giro. So I think it's going to be quite close. If it is going to be Roglic, it's going to be the main man, but he does have the track record to kind of back up his Vuelta performance.
Maybe not this year, but in other years to come, yes. Because if Jonas is doing the Tour, this is the first time now in a couple of years that Jonas has done the Vuelta. Like, we know he's so good at Grand Tour racing. Like, Roglic could just slot into a Vuelta team next year and might be able to win it, especially if Pog, Evenepoel, Jonas are all doing the Tour. Then who does that leave for the Vuelta? Roglic might be able to get that Roberto Herras's equaling number of 4 Vuelta wins. I just don't see it happening this year. However, Jumbo have released their team. Should we talk about it?
Yeah,
go for it. I mean, the problem is though, like, this year stacked. Enric Mas crashes at the Tour, Carapaz crashes at the Tour, so he goes to the Vuelta. If that happens next year as well, then suddenly Roglic he's a year older as well. So
Roglic, he's almost like Benjamin Button. He's like aging in reverse. It seems like no matter what age he seems to get to, he's still at a really high level. Like he's in his like deep into his 30s now, and he wins almost every stage race he touches. So like looking forward, I don't think it's going to take a year for that to sort of go down the drain. I feel like maybe 2-3 years down the line, yes, that might go down the drain. But still, this year he won a Grand Tour at the Giro. He won a highly competitive Tirreno, Catalonia, and now with Burgos with Sasha Vlasov and those guys there. Sasha Vlasov, by the way, looks really good at the moment. Then looking forward, I feel like Roglic might have a couple more years in him. Also, he came into the sport late. I don't know whether that makes a difference. Maybe his shelf life is longer.
He's nowhere near Horner.
Yeah.
Very true.
How old was Horner when he won it? 41 or something?
I reckon maybe Roglic has an advantage from like a mental fatigue sort of standpoint. Comes in late. He's not kind of like been in the system as long. Maybe that is an advantage. But we're going to talk about their team, which is good, which is released. Roglic, Jonas, Sepp Kuss, Wilco Kelderman, Dylan van Baarle, Attila Valter, Robert Hessink, and Jan Tratnik. I don't really see a big chink in the armour there, to be honest with you. It's got quite a similar cast to what we saw at the Tour. Of course, was Tratnik going to do the Tour, or was he going to do the Giro? But he wasn't there at the end and all that kind of kerfuffle. I think it's a good team, to be honest with you. I think it's very solid. It's got the guys it's got the good rouleurs. It's got the high mountains. Sepp Kuss is doing his third Grand Tour of the season. Might contribute to the third victory this season for Jumbo-Visma's Grand Tours. Yeah, I think it's really good. I think it's going to be hard to topple that.
But this feels like the pro cycling manager team that you would probably send to the Vuelta in terms of having like all those guys. And great, I'm really happy to see Attila Valter start the Vuelta, because at the beginning of the year, there was like an interview that said that he wasn't going to do a Grand Tour this year, but he jumped onto it. He's had a really good season so far at Jumbo-Visma. Van Baarle coming out of the Tour de France as well. He looked really good there. For Kelderman, I'm hoping he shows better form than he did at the Tour de France. And also Tratnik, who looked really good in the Spring Classics, who missed out the Giro sort of cruelly with that crash a week before, definitely could make a difference. I'm surprised Tobias Foster hasn't been included, given that he missed out in the Giro as well. I don't know whether that's a sign of things to come for Tobias Foster, which we may talk about later on.
I mean, it probably is, isn't it? I think that, yeah, you're right. I guess maybe it is going to be a little bit more complicated with the dual leadership and how quickly they back one horse, or whether they're going to try and keep both in contention for as long as possible. I don't really know. I think that's going to be the main sort of dynamic for Jumbo-Visma to try and suss out. But they have, they've dealt with dual leadership in different shapes and sizes before, in the forms of like their Spring Classics and their Wout van Aert and Jonas Vingegaard kind of objectives at the 2022 Tour. So they're very good at managing rider sort of expectations and goals. So I think that if it's going to be any team which could get two riders on the podium in this race, I would be backing Jumbo-Visma to be that team.
Sepp Kuss finished the 2021 Tour de France and Jonas finished second.
But
apart from that, every Grand Tour since the 2019 Vuelta that he has started, Jumbo have won. In that case, every Grand Tour that Sepp Kuss has finished, they finished either first or second since the 2019 Vuelta. That's an incredible record still.
That's why they're like, get out there, Kuss, get out. We need you. Another one.
I don't care how tired you are.
Yeah, do it again. I kind of hope that Jonas is a bit selfless, and then he's like, well, I've always looked up to Roglic. Here I have the opportunity to give back. He helped me enormously crack Tadej Pogačar last year. So here's his opportunity to help him with a big goal as well.
I would like to see that too.
But that depends if they're the two strongest riders. We could have a Eno Le Monde situation, maybe.
I mean, they'll be in the driver's seat after the TTT, because in theory, Jumbo-Visma are really good at the TTT. They take time on other teams. Let's say it's a fairly decent TT. So let's say 20 seconds. That puts them in the driver's seat to be able to take control as to who they kind of want as, like, they can give the jersey away to somebody in a breakaway, and they can kind of save their bullets for later on in the race, which they will definitely need to do, considering that Tourmalet and Anglerud both come in the final week, I want to say. I think it's only like the final 7 days of racing.
Yeah, there's a good video on the second day next year about that. But nevertheless, we might as well keep on with Jumbo-Visma, and this is a bit of a sad story. Michael Hessman, the rider who was part of their Giro d'Italia team, has been suspended by the team Obviously, it's always sad to see these kind of doping situations. But it said Jumbo-Visma provisionally suspended Michael Hessmann after the 22-year-old German rider tested positive in an out-of-competition test carried out on June 14th. The team said Hessmann tested positive for a diuretic that was contained in a medication and said that they would await the doping investigation. The exact substance involved has not been disclosed. What do you guys make of this? And obviously, it's always sad seeing a rider test positive for a substance.
Yeah, it is, and it's kind of like it's sketchy ground, like just like doping. But unfortunately, it is something which tends to follow cycling around every year. We do tend to get cases kind of popping up, and it is kind of like a rather annoying just kind of thorn in the side of cycling that kind of continues to follow us around, however much we would like to move past it. But yeah, it is a bit of a shame, especially when you consider that test came pretty much after the Giro d'Italia, which means that this is kind of like, that kind of puts a bit of a black mark onto like Hessmann's performance in that Giro, which was a very good one. He was very good in his Grand Tour debut there at helping Roglic to win. And yeah, it is just a bit of a shame that's happened. But yeah, it's just I don't really know what to say. I don't want to go like accusing anyone of anything, saying that it was accidental or purposeful or whatever the hell it was. But it is what it is.
This has been sort of great fuel to the fire for Jumbo-Visma haters after the Tour de France, but we can't really speculate or say anything. The UCI actually haven't done their official statement yet, which they have done for Alex Baudin, for instance, of Actually Citroën, who had a doping thing announced. There was Tonarts, Rob Stannard, Alex Baudin. Don't know if there are other ones to add to the list as well, but we would imagine this has been picked up. Oh, yeah, true.
Miguel Angel Lopez.
That poor UCI intern who's having to do all these press releases in the past couple months. Yeah, also, I would imagine this has been picked up. From what I've heard, is that this has been picked up by the German, that's still a local anti-doping agency, but hasn't been sorted out by the UCI or a world anti-doping agency yet. So we're waiting on what their decision could be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a surprise, a casual fan of boxing, and they're going through just a murky situation. One boxer from the next boxer is testing positive from this, that, and the other, which makes cycling look a lot cleaner compared to some of these other sports, also like American football, etc. You could keep going, but yeah, I don't really know. Yeah, tennis. Like, I don't really know where this leaves the sport. I mean, you don't want to accuse anyone of doing anything, but we are seeing the records broken continuously on climbs as well. But you also have better equipment, they say, better training, etc. The sport is a lot further than what it was back in Eddie Merckx era, where they were going on steel-framed bikes. Now they're going on very solid carbon bikes. Lightweight carbon bikes. You've got nutrition is a lot more better understood. Training's better understood as well. Just look at the fabrics that they're wearing as well. So yeah, I don't know what to make of it. All three of us are still fans of the sport, but as you both said, it kind of casts a bit of a shadow over the sport again.
Yeah, just statistic out here. So in 2022. There were 29 alleged doping cases in cycling. So I definitely don't think we're kind of like out of a woodwork. And it is just sort of, I do fear that cycling is sort of a bit of a house of cards that's like at any moment is just kind of like something, because nobody expected like Lance to be kind of doing what he was doing. And then it all kind of came out. And I just don't want the same thing to happen again. And see the stars which I've looked up to for so many years to it come out that they've, done something illicit. And I'm going to be like, oh, that amazing performance from whatever year. I'm going to be like, oh, that wasn't actually like that legit. So hopefully these cases remain sporadic and they remain away from the big riders in the sport, especially.
I feel like we will have like collective trauma.
Yeah, we do.
From like the whole Lance situation, and I mean, it took years for that to unravel, but like whenever there's a doping situation in cycling, I think we all sort of reach to the great extremity of what it could possibly be, because we've been through that before. I know we shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well move on because it's quite a sad topic. Another one, Patrick, you mentioned this, the Quick-Step, Soudal Quick-Step and Ineos or Grenadiers, of course, they had a bit of a squabble over Remco Evenepoel. Seems like that's not going to happen. But it looks like, are they going to be merging now? Patrick Lefevre and the other owner want to sell Quick-Step to Jim Ratcliffe? Is that the story?
I'm not really sure because, frankly, there's been so much talk about it that I'm not really sure what's fact and what's fiction anymore. But what is pretty evident is that Ineos have a very small number of riders signed for next year. It's something in the realms of 15 riders, which isn't anywhere near the minimum threshold required to be kind of competing in the World Tour, quite frankly. So that kind of begs the question that either Ineos are going to announce a plethora of signings in the next few weeks, or there's this rumor that, you know, this whole thing of like Remco going to Ineos, like maybe he's not going to Ineos exactly, but they're kind of forming a combined team with Soudal Quick-Step. But then that also raises the question of, if that's the case, does that mean there's a spare World Tour slot going for somebody to go and fill into? So there's just a lot of questions going on, but I think it's quite intriguing about the prospect of, could Ineos and Soudal Quick-Step combine into one? I mean, it would be pretty much be a super team at that point. Because imagine Evenepoel on Ineos. You got him and Pidcock as like an Ardennes team, like holy moly.
Yeah, this has been, I think, almost fiction more than fact. I think, it is sniffing between the lines in terms of the Ineos not having renewed a lot of their riders and also not announcing a lot of their riders. But last year they didn't announce their signings until maybe September. It's different this year because, like, for instance, this time last year, we knew Tayman Arensman was moving to Ineos and they announced it in September. But now we're hearing that, for instance, Tobias Foss, Carlos Barona, who were strongly rumored to be moving there, that's not going to happen anymore. They've fallen through. Victor Lafay as well from Cofidis, who we thought was moving to Ineos, that's fallen through. But the other day Remco was very pragmatic in saying that he's staying with Soudal, a contract to contract, and Patrick Lefevre as well said like if he were to break his contract then they would sue. And also with Quick-Step is that the team, although we think it's just Patrick Lefevre, it's also this Czech millionaire. This Czech millionaire also owns a lot of the team, and I don't think they're looking really to merge. Ineos will be fine. We will have both teams separate next year. It'll be the status quo. I think now we're sort of maybe sniffing between the lines a little bit too much at Ineos Grenadiers. They'll pull through somehow. They might hire a bunch of teenagers like they did last year, but they'll be fine. They still have, although they only have 15 riders, it's still like a pretty star-studded lineup. Also, if Carlos Rodriguez stays, which is looking more likely now, despite the year-long rumors of him going to Movistar, then I think Ineos have more of a raison d'etre for next year.
It's true, but it's true they could sign a load of teenagers and stuff and under 23s, but it wouldn't be a particularly great team, to be honest with you, if they have a couple of their kind of star-studded names, but they're being backed up by just a load of neo-pros. Like, it does seem like a bit of a hollow shell team, where it's like they've just got like a few good ones, and then everyone else is just a little bit just like superfluous. It's just like a development team. It's like, well, Ineos, you could have set up a development team years ago, like, you know, everyone's been asking you to do, or a women's team, but that's like a whole other conversation. But I don't know. I don't think Ineos would be in a particularly strong position next year if they just signed a load of neo-pros, though. And they're just kind of like sending like one big rider to one race. Like, what about these scenarios where there's like 2 or 3 races on at a time and they need to send like a decent squad to both? And it's like, well, it's time to field Mr. Billy over here, who's like a neo pro who literally he doesn't know what's going on, but he's being paid 30 grand a year. And it's kind of like, I don't think it'd be a particularly great team.
What's wrong with Mr. Billy?
Depends who Mr. Billy is.
But I think I hate seeing teams merge, to be honest, because we've seen it quite a few times. Like the BMC team merged with CCC, but like every time a team merges, you're losing a top squad, and then like all the soigneurs and all the mechanics, all the like they're all being merged as well. So someone's going to lose jobs. And obviously you said they're going to be a super team if they merge. I think the two are already kind of super teams, no? So it's like you're losing one super team. But yeah, let's hope it doesn't happen. But yeah, what were you saying, Ewan?
I was going to say that what Patrick was describing was just DSM Feminine in terms of signing a bunch of neo-pro teenagers and seeing how they do.
Literally. I mean, it hasn't worked that great for them, is the thing.
Yeah, true. Tobias Lund, he's going to do something in the future.
That DSM's World Tour points in 2022 and 21 were not great, but I still feel like Ineos have like two, like their teenagers are really good. Like he's not a teenager anymore, but like Magnus Sheffield, and
yeah,
they've lost Ben Tullett, but I feel like they'll be fine. This is Ineos at the end of the day. Like we've seen teams go through worse and they bounce back. Remember 2012 Quick-Step?
Yeah, true.
That was a sad time.
Yeah,
and they bounced back.
We might as well move on. The Vuelta a España is coming up as well, as we all know. We've already mentioned it a few times. But before the Tour de France last month, we did our predictions here on the Echelon Cycling Podcast, and then we laughed at ourselves afterwards with hot takes. Ewan famously getting Mikhail Kwiatkowski taking a stage win, right? And Patrick, I think you got one as well. What was it you said?
I said Yates is going to finish on the podium.
Oh, yeah.
But you keep on outing me and trying to take this away from me.
So anyways, World to España 2023. Podium, we might as well go there. Obviously, we've done one already, but chance to just freshen it up now.
Oh, that's very true. I'm not sure whether to go once again different, just to kind of give myself yet another option to go with. But
only this one counts on the Echelon.
Yeah, I'll stick with what I said in the preview. I'm going to go with, I think that it will. Oh, what did I say? I said that Evenepoel was going to finish third, Ayuso is going to finish second, and Jonas is going to win. And then caveat, Roglic finishes fourth. If people are wondering, before the Roglic supporters go, where is he? Start demanding my head on a spike.
As they should. Jonas wins. Roglic second, and third goes to someone. Evenepoel, Almeida, Ayuso. Thing is, I back Sasha so much, and I've got so little in return. Let's go for Almeida.
Ooh.
Wait, instead of Ayuso, that might. But the thing is, Ayuso.
Ayuso is good.
He is good.
He is pretty good. He is quite fast.
I'll go for Almeida. No. He was crap at the Worlds. Ayuso finishes third.
Okay, I'm going to say Ayuso wins, Remco in third, and Roglic in second.
Wow.
Vingegaard just can't be bothered.
I'm just imagining Ayuso winning, just like the Spanish uproar. Be great.
That would be the youngest winner, no? I guess.
Probably.
Who's going to win the most stages?
Ooh.
That's quite a good one, actually.
Do you mean like team or like individual rider?
Individual.
Ooh. Well, it's not going to be a sprinter because there's about 1.5 sprints going in the whole race or something like that. Oh, that's a hard one.
I mean, Roglic, if he's on form, he could be picking off some of those hockey stick stages, as you call them, Patrick.
Yeah, but then you can get just some like cracked breakaway guy like a Jay Vine from years gone by who could just go and pick up like 3 breakaway victories, just like going in those.
Carapaz did that last year.
Yeah,
last year?
like I'm never what you mean. Though.
Yeah, last year you got 3 stages and the polka dots.
I don't want to say Jonas. It seems so boring. I'll go with Ayuso. Ayuso's winning the most stages.
How many? 7?
3.
12? Breaking the Freddie Martins record, 13?
My word. I'll say a safe 3 for now. I reckon there'll just be a few people just on like 2s.
I'm going for Roglic. He's so good on uphill sprints. He can Roglify those profiles. He's so good. We saw that at Burgos. He's so good in uphill sprints. Tirreno as well. He's disgustingly good. He needs the bonus seconds to fend off Almeida, Ayuso, Evenepoel for third.
Oh, Oh, Evenepoel, did he win it? Do the most stages? Well, he only took two.
His sprint's really improved recently.
It has. He beat Bilbao in San Sebastian, and Bilbao's no slouch in a sprint. We've seen him do really well in Basque sprints before and Tour of the Alps sprints. Could be Evenepoel. He gets the TT as a de facto as well.
Roglic, Olympic champion, Primoz Roglic.
Oh, Roglic is finishing 5th in that TT.
Didn't help him out the Giro.
Evenepoel's winning. Evenepoel's definitely winning the
Legit.
TT. I'm sorry.
With his aero skin or whatever freaking rubbish that is. Have you guys seen that? Apparently his skin's more aero than the skin suit, so he wears short sleeves all the time. Might be the worst story I've ever seen. Couldn't believe it.
Is that the hot
real.
take? That
Like
for the time
dimples on his
trial,
skin or something.
we all think he's going to win the time trial.
Yeah, that's a cold take. That's an ice cold polar Arctic race in Norway take.
Yeah.
That's a Stephen Williams shaking in the post race interview take.
Yeah, literally. I mean, I'll repeat my hot takes from a preview. I think that Romain Gregoire is winning stage 2. The puncher
Why?
kind of finished.
This is like Ewan specific. Why the specific? Why not just say he's going to win a stage?
Because I'm increasing the stakes.
Okay.
You don't need to mention the stage number. Yeah, I'm with you on that. But
Danish what stage winner?
who? Oh, Vingegaard, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Andreas Korten.
That's not happening. We've been trying to manifest this for years. We have been manifesting, and we have got so little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on,
Not everyone can be a Grand Tour stage winner.
Yeah, that's very true. I'll tell you, we did this on a preview. Ewan, where do you think that Uijtenbrooks is going to finish
Oh yeah,
on his Grand Tour debut?
He's finishing in the Uijtenbrooks zone, 8th in GC.
That's exactly what none of us what Scott said. I said he was going to finish 6th, actually.
But
Real,
so are
the
you?
Uijtenbrooks zone.
Are users basically winning the white jersey then?
No,
is Evenepoel?
Evenepoel.
Oh, okay.
This is
Yeah, but I've got
Almeida.
Evenepoel.
Joao Almeida's eligible for white still.
Yeah, but I've got Ayuso as second, so obviously he's winning because Roglic is not exactly.
Yeah, but where's Uijtenbrooks going then? How is he winning white?
Yeah, no.
With a raid on stage 20.
Maybe in the year 2017 he can win.
Yeah.
Him and Pierre Latour.
Yeah, literally. On that stage 20, you're going to wait and see Uijtenbrooks and Sasha Vlasov are going to do a 2-up 100k like attack. It's gonna be sensational. You wait.
I bet Sasha doesn't finish. This is my hot take.
Oh no, that's so hot. Oh,
I love him. He's my boy, but I don't think he's finishing.
Oof, that's ouch. Enric Mas,
is he going?
I think he is.
The Enric Mas zone is just exclusively second place in GC.
Yeah, but he's not getting second, is he? Like he's recovering from that Tour de France injury, and as Patrick said, he didn't go to the Vuelta a Burgos.
Yeah, but
DNF.
He's Enric Mas though.
DNF stage 9. Don't know why stage 9, but
oh no,
he can't handle the rest day.
Legit. He's gonna unleash. Who else do they have on their team who could be fully unleashed? He's gonna unleash Jose Joaquim Rojas to do something.
The ever problematic Jose Joaquim Rojas.
Lenny Martinez.
No, be real.
Oh, do you think Egan Bernal is going to get a stage win?
No.
Why not?
But I'd like him to.
Yeah, I'd like it.
Yeah, I'd like it. I'd like €1 million in my bank account.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's happening, you know. I'd like Sasha Vlasov to win the Tour de France.
Yeah.
Is it gonna happen? I don't think so.
But Bernal, if Bernal is gonna win a stage, it's gonna be one of them like hockey stick freaking stages where it's just flat, and then it's just like some berg at the end. You know, I'll pick one out. Bernal will win stage 11 if it's gonna be any stage.
And
Bernal's winning a sprint stage.
Is there actually any sprinters here?
Egan Bernal sprinting mode unlocked.
Yeah. Who's going to win a sprint? Marijn van den Berg, he's winning a sprint easily.
Remco Evenepoel. Primoz Roglic.
Sprint engaged.
Hot take here. Simon Carr wins a stage.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
I'm on board with that.
But guys, you just said, who wins the Angliru stage? That's a good one. I'm saying Jonas Vingegaard.
Oh, that's so beige.
Yeah,
hard agree though. Hard agree. It's a cold take.
No, I'm gonna go with something different. I'm gonna give the people what they really want. We all
Rom-
know that
Roma Vade.
imagine Roman Bardet winning up there. Nah, it's going to
Bardet is
be.
stage hunting in this Volta of Spain. You're not going for GC. We'll see how that goes.
Is he? Oh dear.
Ouch. Ewan, that was mean.
Yikes. Nah, Lenny Martinez wins up Angliru.
Imagine. I
He's so
mean,
light.
Kenny Ellison doing it up. Wait, which kind was that? Was that?
That was the Angler 2013.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, no, for real, Eddie Dunbar.
Parallels.
Eddie Dunbar.
Ooh.
Hello, Edward, my man from County Cork, my Munster bro.
I mean, we would love to see him win.
He could do that. I don't know if he's going for GC. We'll find out. But he's never ridden the Vuelta before.
Yeah, that's very true.
How many stages did Jumbo win?
4.
2.
5.
2.
Yeah, it seems low.
Oh,
Team
it's a
time trial.
TTT in there. That's a lock.
Is it though? Like, okay,
It pretty much
Ineos
is.
Grenadiers, Ghana, Arensman, Castroviejo, Thomas, De Plus. That's some big engines in there.
I know. This is the thing. You make very sound points, but for some reason, Jumbo-Visma get a boost whenever they do a Grand Tour TTT. It's inexplicable. They just win them, even if they don't have the strongest team. For some reason, Robert Hessing can all of a sudden output 500 watts for 6 minutes. I don't know how it happens. It just does.
You're both saying Jumbo-Visma. I'll go for Ineos winning the TTT.
Ineos historically have not been the best at TTTs, despite the fact they should have been.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm with Patrick on this. Jumbo, it's a walkover.
You're going Jumbo as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be prepared. Bora Hansgrohe second.
Yeah, they just, I don't know. Jumbo just do it. I don't know why, but they just do. It's like the pyramids. Things that can't be explained. How the pyramids were built and how Jumbo-Visma win every single TTT in the World Tour calendar.
Jumbo-Visma is so Stonehenge. They are so Stonehenge coded.
Literally. Primoz Roglic erected Stonehenge. I'm convinced.
Right.
And Jonas built the pyramids in 2 days.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm the only sane one on this podcast. But nevertheless, moving on to Rider of the Week. And I think I'm going to go first because I don't want either of you to pick it. I'm going to pick the rider that, for some reason, I had a dream about last night. And that was Mads Pedersen. I was dreaming that I was getting a lift with him down to Hamburg for whatever reason. Because, winning the Tour of Denmark and then the next day, taking the ferry down to Hamburg and winning the stage, I think that's Rider of the Week. And being in my dream.
What was he like in your dream? Was he a nice guy?
We were looking for chocolates in the gas station and he bought a teddy bear for his kid. I don't even know if he has kids.
That's very wholesome. It's very wholesome. Daddy Pedersen. Did you see his brother now rides for Lidl Trek as well, Martin?
Isn't it a stagiaire? I'm not sure if it's full contract, but I assume it will be.
Still, he's riding for Lidl Trek anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Being on the winning team.
Nepo, baby.
Right, my rider of the week. I'm going to pick a little bit of an underdog. I think he overperformed in the Vuelta Burgos. Right, it's Damien Hausen. Finished in 4th place in GC. That's probably one of the better performances I've seen Damien Hausen do. Remember, just went off the boil a little bit, and I rate his little comeback there. I thought that was really good. Chapeau.
Yeah, it's a good result for Q36.5. I feel like they've been finding it hard to carve an identity in Pro Continental, despite their really strong roster.
Because so Hausen, stupid name.
Well, definitely, it is stupid. I'm going to go for Roglic. He's back. He's so back. It's Roglic season. Roglic in August is unrivaled. Roglic in Spain, he's something different. You know, it's like Simon Spielek in Switzerland. I don't know what they put in the water in Spain, but it gives Primoz Roglic like wings. He steps foot in the Kingdom of Spain, and he is a different rider. He's amazing, magical, fairy tale.
Diuretics.
Yeah, I was going to say bad analogy when we've just talked about Jumbo-Visma rider.
Diuretics in the water. You can skip. You can cut that out if you want, but I just had to say it.
You can keep that one in.
Obviously, none of that is true.
Please cut that out.
Yeah, that is basically it for our 30th episode of the Echelon Cycling Podcast. Of course, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel to help us grow, and comment down below, because we always love the comments, and when Ewan has a bit better Wi-Fi, we'll make sure to do more comments as well. But that's basically it. Until next week, thank you very much for watching, and make sure to look out for a new short series coming up as well, so for the next week. But with that, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you around.